So it's been a long time since I've done a longer form video on YouTube. In fact, it's been about 5 months. I've gone through a lot. And even then, I wasn't doing them regularly 5 months ago. I'm also demonetized on YouTube. I've been demonetized for over a year. So there's not a lot of incentive to create on here except to connect with YouTube people who tend to be critical thinkers. I really like this platform for that. But I'm also a busy woman. This is my husband, Joshua. We run an online school. We also both work as writers. Um, and being on social media and posting on social media is not our job. It's not how we pay our bills. So
Yeah.
I am not excited to make this video today. I'm not excited even a little bit. And in fact, I'm quite nervous to make it. But I have not been able to be at peace about this. And whenever God wants me to speak up about something, he does not give me peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Being pushed.
I think everyone is talking about Candace Owens right now. I think she's probably the most talked about person on social media at this current time. And there is a lot of people speaking against her. There's a lot of people that are super, uh, they love what she's doing right now and they're on her side. They're Team Candace. And I just want to share what I know and where I'm at on all of this. And before I start all of that, I want to make it 100% clear that I'm not being paid by Israel. Some of you guys need to go check my husband's X account. They would never choose me.
Not the
I am
biggest
not being
fan.
paid by anyone. In fact, I have
Yeah.
spoke against right-leaning paid commentators. It's very common on our side for them to be paid behind the scenes without disclosing. And I am a commandment keeper Christian, a commandment keeping Christian. And I believe that it's a lie to not disclose to your audience when you are doing paid talking points. And sadly, most people on the right are doing this. I did not know this when I first started speaking up. And if you don't know who I am, I'm a former public school teacher of 15 years. My name is Kali Fontanilla, and I was teaching in California when I saw a lot of um, left leaning craziness being forced on our nation's children. And I decided to start speaking up very um, anonymously online about it. And this was in 2020, and trying to protect my job at the same time and exposing critical race theory, exposing the, gender, the multiple gender agenda, the trans agenda, all of that. It's been exhausting. It has not been easy to do what we do or what I do and what my husband has helped me to do. And he also does speak up, my husband, but he gets banned and frustrated.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hang on. I've been banned a lot. I was banned 20 times on TikTok. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating what we do. It's not fun. And I have not experienced any of the fun part, the exciting side of it. It's been hard for me. I am wildly introverted. I don't really like putting myself out there, and it's I'd rather just live in my husband's pocket and observe the world from the outside looking in, but God put it on my heart to speak up, and that's what I decided to do.
And we
So
don't get
again, I
the we don't get a lot of the money part either.
no, we
I
don't.
mean, you just barely got monetized on. I mean, after years on what, Facebook
Facebook.
for a little bit,
That's
like the
the
last
one,
like two
yeah.
months.
But it
Yeah,
won't last. It
it
won't
won't
last.
last.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been
I don't. Have
violated a
you
lot.
ever been monetized on YouTube? They've
YouTube, I was
never allowed it.
monetized for about maybe 6 months, and the
Yeah,
biggest check I got from YouTube was $600 for that month.
for
This
a
is with
month,
a,
one
this is
month.
with a
Yeah,
this is with 11 million views. So
yeah, yeah,
I'm not in this for the money.
yeah.
I am
Like a
not being
quarter
paid
million
behind the
following.
scenes. You can
Yeah,
still believe that if you want,
yeah,
but it's now to the point where anyone who dares to speak against what Candace Owens is doing right now on her platform, you will be accused of that.
yeah,
So I just want to make it 100% clear that that's not something that I would do. Like I said, I'm a commandment keeping, Bible believing Christian with a genuine faith in God. I would not be here if it wasn't for Jesus. And I would not lie about that, but you can believe what you want.
yeah. Believe what you want.
So the title of this video is Candace Owens, a Liar. And before we get started, before I go deeper into that, I just want to share with you guys my history with her. First of all, I had a lot of respect for her. Um, when I first saw her come onto the scene because I left the left during Obama and before Candace Owens, but I wasn't speaking up about it. I was a public school teacher and I was enjoying my job as a public school teacher. It was what I was born to do. And I had beliefs that were being that I woke up, I left the left during Obama, and that's a long story. I'm not going to share it right now, but I didn't vote for him second term, and then Trump came onto the scene, and my husband was a big Trump fan at the time, and I was like, I don't know about him. I just really hate Hillary, so I'm going to vote for Trump. And then Trump's first term was super exciting as
Oh
president.
yeah,
I,
that
I,
was
I wish
fun.
we could rewind to Trump 2016 again. There's so many things I would do in my life that I wish I had started sooner during that time because it was a beautiful time. The economy was great. People
We got to
loved
go to the White
Trump.
House.
Yeah, people loved Trump. He was doing a great job as president. And there was also a time where you could still speak up and you weren't being censored. And
Hmm.
then in 2020, everything changed. We really
Yeah.
got censored. So Candace Owens' voice began to rise during that time, and I didn't really hear about her until she started the movement Blexit. I didn't really know who she was until because I wasn't a big social media person. I didn't really consume a lot of social media, but when I found out about Blexit, I thought that was super amazing what she was
Hmm.
doing with Kanye West and was basically and then the branding was amazing and I
Yeah.
remember the shirts they came out
The
and
aesthetics were awesome.
I bought a Blexit shirt. I was like, this is
Hmm.
great. Black and Latino exit from the Democrat Party. And
Hmm.
I was like, that's me. I'm part of that.
Hmm.
And I'm so glad she's starting this movement. And I got so into it. My husband and I got so into it that we volunteered for it.
Hmm.
And my husband became the chapter leader of
Yeah.
Blexit, or founder of, not founder, but
Basically, well, I was the first state director of the California chapter.
California,
So
and it became
yeah.
the fastest growing chapter. And we were super excited to do it. And of course, we were doing it all without compensation. Eventually, to the point where, and I'm going to share slides now. How do I add this? Oh, you have to share it.
Oh no, we just need to change the screen here.
Okay, there we go. To the point where I wrote a guide against critical race theory for Blexit. We did cool events with the California chapter. It was such an exciting time. And we also went to DC for a leadership retreat. And at that time, I got to meet Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum. And it
There's
was
pictures of that.
that year
Yeah.
was really a fun year. It was 2020, it was 2020 and 2021, and everyone else, all the left was sitting inside with their masks on and getting weird shots while we were weird vaccines while we were enjoying ourselves and
Yeah.
fighting for the freedom
You're
of this country.
I think one of the first national articles about you on the Epoch Times, they used the picture of you in between Candace and Brandon
Yes.
from
And
yeah, yeah,
and
from that.
I
Yeah.
was so since I was newly learning about the right and people, these new commentators that are coming out, because during Trump, a lot of voices, especially before 2020 and all the censorship, all these incredible voices came out. All the people that are super big right now, the ones that are doing this full time for a living and make a lot of money, they all came out during Trump's
Well, there was
first
that
term.
little window where they still allowed the right to grow quickly, to go viral, and
Yes.
she got in before the censorship, and then once you got in, and then they cracked down, it was like no one else could really get
Yeah,
as big as the first people. She was one of them.
exactly.
Yeah,
And writing the guide against critical race theory, I actually did get paid to write that. I did not do that voluntarily. It was it's 20 pages
yeah.
and it's free to download. I don't know if they still have it on the website because now TPUSA runs Blexit. I'm not sure. I haven't checked recently, but that was a labor of love for our nation's children, for our nation's parents, to warn against what's going on. And I was really grateful to have to have Blexit give me that platform to share all about why critical race theory is terrible and doesn't belong in our schools.
And then
And
on the California Blexit chapter, I was the state director, but Kali was I forget the exact term they used, but
some advisor
it
type.
was like an advisor, and it was generally a term that was given to somebody who was well known. And so her platform had grown by this point. So Kali was
And it
getting
wasn't
like
super
advice.
big. My platform
It was
was not that.
voluntary.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is after all the censorship too. It's been pretty hard to stay alive on social media. Anyways, so there's a picture of one of the Blexit events for the California chapter where they were delivering meals to um, the police to police, and this is in San Diego. Here's another event we had with some of the Blexit members. There I am in the middle, um, and it was such a blast. It was really fun, and I that year was probably one of the funnest years of my life,
So, and just
and
to,
exciting.
yeah, I mean, just to kind of emphasize that a little bit, when I became the state director for the Blexit California chapter, it was before they really cracked down on Facebook, and we were using Facebook groups. I don't know if people remember that time when Facebook groups, before they killed like all the big pro-Trump groups and all the conservative groups. Our Blexit California um, chapter Facebook group was popping. Like we were meeting so many new people. It was so alive. And our chapter was growing insanely quick because largely of those groups. And then, they just overnight, they just killed it all. You couldn't, and they took all the, oh man, I remember this picture. The one on the right there was our first event, right? That was the
Mhm.
first one
Yeah,
of
I
the
already told you.
California chapter, and it was so fun meeting
It
these,
was.
other conservatives. We drove down south like 6 hours to go to this little group, and people drove from all over the state, and it was great. It was fantastic. And
So we were part of Blexit, and Joshua, my husband, actually became a state, not just a state director, but he
regional
became
director
a
for the
regional
Western
director.
states. Yeah.
And you were also required to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. Everyone that works for Candace as an employee is required to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So they are not allowed to talk about their time working with her. I didn't sign that because I am not wasn't a formal employee of hers. So we were deep into Blexit. Joshua, there was a funky exit, and we can't go into that because of Joshua's NDA. Um, and it's not really the intention of this video, anyways.
Doesn't really
The
matter.
intention of this video is to show you guys what Candace has done and demanded of TPUSA and even Kimberly Klasick. I don't know if you guys remember her,
Mm-hmm.
but remember
Mm-hmm.
when, or at least remember when Candace exposed her and shared her finances, her campaign finances, and a misuse. What she's also done to expose Black Lives Matter, which of course Black Lives Matter is trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Not
good job,
defending
Candace.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, good job, Candace.
Yeah.
But is that what she does too? And this stuff that I'm going to show you right now, because I work two regular jobs. My husband and I, we run an online school, but I also work as a researcher. Um, and I write articles about nonprofits, and I know how to research nonprofits. A lot of people don't do that. When they go to donate to a nonprofit, they just think, "Oh, it's doing good work. Here's money." And of course, Candace is very upset at Turning Point USA right now, and is upset that they're profiting off of Charlie Kirk's death. She's mentioned that many times. They've made over $100 million since this year, and she has demanded transparency from them. She has demanded
Mm-hmm.
them
Mm-hmm.
to be share everything all the questions that she wants to be answered. She wants them to answer, but again, she requires all of her employees to sign non-disclosure agreements, and I'm sure TPUSA has that as well. There's an active investigation happening right now into Charlie Kirk's assassination. There's a lot of reasons why these people can't talk, and also they're not obligated to talk to her. They don't have to, right? But she demands that. And she's saying, the reason why they aren't answering her is because there's something going on, there's something nefarious. Charlie was betrayed. She claims that Charlie showed up to her in a dream and said that he was betrayed. So there's a lot going on there. And if you have been
Mm-hmm.
following this, she's done over, I don't know, it's been like 30 videos or something. There's been a lot of videos
Mm-hmm.
every week about this. And her platform has grown since then. All of her videos are monetized. Obviously, she's making money off of this, but she has not shared how much. But she wants to know how much TPUSA is sharing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to show you guys that Blexit Candace Owens' organization that she was president of also may have some funding issues. And this is very easy to look up. You can go to propublica.org and you can look up any nonprofit in this country. And I highly recommend people doing this because you learn a lot from these, from what they have to disclose to the public. And Blexit, I don't know if you guys know this, but Candace Owens' organization, her nonprofit, was taken over by TPUSA, or she handed Blexit over to TPUSA in 2023.
I think it was
Before that,
sold. I
sold.
think.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think.
she.
I don't know.
I don't know
I
the
think
details
so.
on that. Let's. I don't want
Yeah.
to. I don't want to. No matter
Yeah.
what, TPUSA took it over because
Yeah.
it was in trouble. Blexit was $1 million, $1.7 million in the hole,
Mm-hmm.
and Blexit. You can go to ProPublica and you can look this stuff up. This is 2023, the last year that it was underneath Candace Owens as president, and it had 275K in revenue. The expenses were 1.3 million. So she was operating it at a loss. This is in 2021. This is 2 years before. It was 3.3 million in expenses, and she also was operating it that year at a loss. 2022, again, another $1 million at a loss. 3 years in a row, $1 million, and even higher than that in 2022. I'll show you guys that from the tax form, at a loss. Where's this money going? Why are you running a nonprofit and running it into the ground, claiming to do work for African Americans, but where is this money truly going? And 3 years in a row, you're operating it, and you're going in the millions, losing money in this nonprofit. And she was raising money as well. And again, I don't have a team behind me. This is just me and my own research and what I know on how to research nonprofits. So here's 2022. They operated at a loss of 1.7 million that year. They were just spending money left and right in 2022. And what were they spending it on? Well, first there was Candace Owens' salary, which was $250,000 that year in 2022. And you can also look where she stated that her average hours per week that she worked for Blexit was 30 hours. Great. Awesome. That is so amazing, Candace, that you were giving 30 hours a week to Blexit. But there's a problem here. This is also the same year that she started, or that she was doing her Daily Wire show. And this brings questions for me as someone who worked for Blexit and was in Blexit, same with my husband. I don't see where she was giving that 30 hours a week to Blexit and getting that $250,000 payment. Why? Where that was, where her time was doing, where she was doing that time, because she wasn't showing up at any of the events that we were having, except if it was a speaking Blexit rally, which would happen maybe 3 or 4 times a year, if that.
If that. And
Yeah.
all those events are public. You can see which one
And
she was at.
I her Daily Wire show, when she first came out with it, it was a very extensively produced show where it was, she had interviews and she had, guests, and she had, I don't know if you guys watched her Daily Wire show when it first came out, but it was like this really extensive show. It wasn't just her talking in a microphone and doing a podcast. She was also having kids at the same time. And then on her tax form saying that she's giving Blexit 30 hours a week of average work,
For $250,000 a year.
for $250,000 a year. Now, some of you may go to me, oh, yeah, okay, I believe that. I believe she was doing 30 hours a week for Blexit. Well, I'd like to hear that from her. I want to know, because she's accusing TPUSA of taking in money and enriching themselves with donor funds, the employees of that, and actually not doing the work of TPUSA's mission. And she's accused Kimberly Klasick of doing that with, having fun with donor funds and doing, whatever she wants with her campaign funds, right? So, Candace, were you actually giving 30 hours of your time every week to Blexit in 2022? That's I just have that question. Am I allowed to ask that question? I hope I am,
Yeah.
because I don't believe you were doing that. I believe that you weren't giving 30 hours a week to Blexit, just because I worked with Blexit and I know what these events were like, and I know what was being accomplished. At least, especially you can't share a lot about it, but you were a regional director.
You don't even need to, it's just the public stuff. You can see from public events which one she was at and which one she
Yeah.
wasn't. You don't even
Yeah.
need special info from me. Like,
So did she lie about doing her 30 hours a week? That's
just
my
asking questions, right?
just asking questions, right? Okay. I want to go back to this right here. So also, it's interesting to note that Brandon Tatum, he would show up at events more than Candace, and he only put average hours of 5 hours per week and was only compensated $36,000. So something to think about. Um, so here's where a lot of the money was going to. You can see here that it was going to Optimize Consulting, which is $500,000 to this social media fundraising company. It went 349,000 of it went to security. So again, this is 2022, the year she's doing her Daily Wire show. $349,000 went to security. She also went to Olympic Media, 284,000. This is another social media fundraising group. As someone who follows Blexit and who has been part of Blexit for a long time, I'm not sure how it almost takes $1 million to do social media fundraising, but especially if you look at their social media and how they were, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, go look up Blexit's social media in 2022 and ask me where that money was going.
And I
There's
mean, you could
also
also
Rio
look at,
Slum,
yeah, yeah.
which is a web services uh, organization. That is not a real address for them. That 117 Church Street, apartment A. You can look that up. There's no Rio Slum at that spot. If you look up Rio Slum, it is a group, and this is exactly what she did to Kimberly Klasick, because Kimberly Klasick was giving money to these Optimized Consulting. They opened in 2018. It's a very new company. She was doing the same thing with Kimberly Klasick. She was like, "Hey, what's this weird new company that you're giving all this money to for your campaign?"
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This is exactly what she was doing with Kimberly Klasick. So
Just
again,
asking questions.
what does this have to do with the mission of Blexit, which was to help African Americans leave the Democrat Party and to enlighten them on the truth and help them with their education and help them to, the mission of Blexit was not social media fundraising. And also, again, where was this social media fundraising going? I'm just asking questions because I don't see on the I don't, as far as what I know of Blexit, I don't see that 700 and almost that $800,000 being used for social media fundraising, especially with such a small overall budget.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, I'm just asking questions. Did Candace, where you demand transparency from TPUSA, you demanded transparency from Kimberly Klasick. Where's the transparency from you? And also, this was a year where she ran again. Here's that same year, $389,000 on travel. I do know that Candace Owens was using private jets to go to the Blexit rallies. So how much of that money was going towards Candace's private jets? Again, was this a way for her to pay for her security through her nonprofit instead of, paying for it herself? That's a very high security bill, $349,000. Uh, is this a way for her to pay for private jets to travel? Because she does use private jets to travel often, and I know that because she would travel with private jets to rallies that we went to, um, and so that's $389,435 for travel, conferences, conventions, and meetings, $518,000. That could be some of the Blexit rally cost. Cool. Let's see some transparency on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then again, she was operating Blexit at a loss every year. There's $925,000 that was they were in the hole in 2021, I believe, and then in the end of 2022, they were $1.7 million in the hole, and in 2023, I think it was another $1 million, and that's when TPUSA took over um, Blexit. She handed it over to TPUSA, and now she's trying to destroy TPUSA.
Yeah.
And
Which,
I'm laughing about this because it's
yeah,
like I just want transparency from
yeah.
her because if you're gonna claim transparency, if you know everybody else has to answer your questions.
Hmm.
Here's where, and we only have about 15 more minutes.
Hmm.
Here's where I have a problem. So I just watched Candace's recent video where she is talking about Erika Kirk, and you know the moment when Erika Kirk goes to Charlie's casket, and it's she cries, and everyone has dogged Erika for doing that. They think it's so weird. They think it's awful. They think it's like her trying to get attention. We don't know these people personally. Um, I don't think that Charlie and Erika are normal people. I think Charlie, I've met him a few times in my life, and I wish I could go longer into the interactions I've had with him, which I will maybe in another video. Uh, he wasn't a normal person.
No, by
He was
definition,
like,
these
yeah,
people they're larger than life in some ways. Yeah,
yeah,
they're
and
different.
they're different. And I think
Yeah,
that Charlie chose someone who's different.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I do think that if I were to guess what she was doing with that moment, this was fresh. First of all, the first 24 hours after someone dies, especially someone close to you, even myself, I
Yeah,
was not normal during
no,
that
you
24
can't
hours.
judge them on
I
that.
didn't
Yeah.
sleep that whole night.
Hmm.
I lashed out at two people. I lashed out at my mom, and I shouldn't have done that, but my mom said something really incredibly annoying and rude, and I just told her to F
Because
off.
you're
And
on edge.
I
Yeah,
never cuss.
yeah.
And, like I wasn't acting normal that 24 hours. So I
Hmm.
don't judge anything that Erika did during that time
Hmm.
because it it's it was an incredibly crazy and tragic event that happened that
Hmm.
was almost surreal. I mean, it was surreal. It was it was gnarly, right? It was just gnarly. Like I think, and the whole world witnessed it. I also think she was trying to have an Emmett Till moment. She was trying to show the world what they did,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
because show them and be like, hey, this is you killed my husband. You killed
Yeah.
my husband, just like Emmett Till's mom was like, you killed my son.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I do believe that was, for me, that's what I think it was, but I'm not sure what the intention behind that
Yeah.
was. But, anyways, regardless of all that, Candace said, this is in her latest video. She said, if you're going to allow the public to see something as intimate as that, you have to keep allowing them to see the way you're
Everything.
grieving and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And she's upset that Erika Kirk has not disclosed where Charlie's buried. And I think the conspiracy theorists think Charlie is like, I don't know, somewhere being pickled right now still, that he's not buried 3 months later, but I don't know. And Erika Kirk has said, hey, I'm not going to share where this is at because
For obvious reasons.
leftists are insane and they will defile it. They've already defiled memorials for Charlie. Like, and she wants to have a place where she can feel safe with her daughters. Because remember, she's the mother of two of his children,
Hmm.
two of his little girls,
Hmm.
and to go be able to visit the grave of. And so Candace is demanding that Erika continues to allow the public into her grief and into her the decisions she has made in
Hmm.
regards to Charlie's death.
Hmm.
Well, Candace, are you a hypocrite? Because you shared your intimate texts with Charlie,
Some of them.
some of them. You have
Hmm.
shared texts that were never meant to be for the public,
Hmm.
but you didn't share them all.
Hmm.
Are you going to share all of the texts? So, I mean, this is a this is an extremely divisive thing that's happening right now. And even if you did believe that TPUSA is behind it and that Charlie was living in the Truman Show, that Charlie, this one of the smartest, wisest guys that has ever existed in our modern times, somehow didn't know that he was being tricked by his own wife and his own best friends, multiple people,
Which is a crazy
and
theory.
the government and Trump and all these people that have been roped into what these theories. So it's just it's a lot. It's a lot. But at the same time, we aren't allowed to question the person that's spreading a lot of this. And I know I'm going to be attacked by her followers in this. They're going to say I'm trying to take her spot, or I don't know. I don't want her spot.
No
Like
thanks.
I said, I'd rather live in a pocket. I'd rather live in a pocket. I haven't posted in 5 months. I'm not trying to do this for a living.
Yeah.
I haven't done a long video like this in 5 months. So there's a lot more I could say. I'm running out of time, but is Candace a liar? Did
Yeah.
she really work 30 hours for Blexit? I know that she's shared some things, Joshua, you're more privy to it, some things that aren't true in her theories.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just applying the questions that the same kind of questions that she's been asking, like you said, is she going to share? She said that Erica is having Meghan Markle syndrome because she wants some things public and not other things. Well, you shared some of his text messages. How about sharing the text messages around the time when you left TPUSA, when there was that breakup, or around the time when Charlie Kirk unfollowed you on social media? You
Or
know,
share your text messages when you were congratulating him for the birth of his daughters.
right?
Did you,
The
if they
weeks
were
leading
so
up to his
close?
death.
Yeah,
Yeah. The weeks leading
exactly.
up to his death. Were you still close? Because
Yeah.
his real close friends that he worked with every day say you weren't. And the text messages you're sharing seem like they're old. So, just applying the same, we're just asking questions logic to her. I mean, a lot of her theories would fall apart really quickly, you know, and like, she said some things that, just a few quick examples, that she got the time wrong on one of her theories with like the
It was the
Egyptian
Egyptian
planes.
planes. And that's the
Yeah.
thing, the Egyptian plane one I think is the strongest one she has, I guess.
But even then, it's just like she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, she got the time wrong. Like,
Mhm.
UTC, she
It's
thought
very
that meant
reckless.
Utah time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very reckless.
She just threw it
So,
out there.
I just wanna quickly, because I
Yeah.
only have
Go
2 more
ahead. Go
minutes. I
ahead.
just wanna quickly share my final thoughts on some of this and then ask her some questions if she's willing to answer them, although I doubt she'll ever see this video, but maybe
Yeah.
her followers will force her to watch it or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so first of all, her videos are done very clickbait style. They are, I have something very exciting to share with you. And if you look at the comment section, people are having a heyday over this. They're like putting popcorn emojis, like this is something fun.
Hmm.
There's
Hmm.
nothing fun about this. Whether
No.
Candace is right or wrong, this is not fun. This is a man's life, his wife, and his 2 kids, and
Hmm.
his organization that he built his whole life putting together. There's nothing fun about this. So that right there alone is like part of the reason why I'm speaking up right now, is because I'm tired of seeing this turn into like a cat fight, like a fun, like we're watching a WWE wrestling match between Candace and Erika. And that's
Hmm.
what, if you look at Candace's comment section, that's what it looks like by the people that are really into what she's doing. I also don't think that Candace should be silenced. It's free speech, it's a free country. Um, she obviously likes how her followers are treating this and the conclusions that they're coming to, because she has not rebuked them for what they're
Hmm.
doing. And I know she reads her comments because she hearts some of them.
Hmm.
Um, she, she's very clever with her words. So if you notice, she'll often accuse, her followers are like, the feds are doing a terrible job at this investigation. You're the only one that's doing it right. You guys, it's the Utah Attorney General that's doing the investigation. It's the Utah Attorney General that released the text messages that were given to them by Tyler Robinson's weird lover, trans lover, right?
Hmm.
It's not the feds.
Hmm.
It's the Utah Attorney Generals that filed the charges against
Hmm.
Tyler Robinson. It's not the feds. And people, and she knows this. I hope she does. But she likes to use the Fed slop and feds because people
Hmm.
don't trust the feds.
Hmm.
But really, if she's honest, it's actually the Attorney General office that's conducting the investigation. The feds, they're doing an investigation too, but they're basically showing whether or not it's a domestic terrorism or if it's a hate crime. They're not involved in the actual formal charges of the murder of Charlie Kirk. the murder. They're just trying to, they can press charges if they can see that it's domestic terrorism or if it's a hate crime. But it's the Utah Attorney General's office that's doing the investigation. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have a problem with that, you need to take it up with them, not the feds.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are saying fed slop, fed slop. So, and then my final thing I want to say is that after researching nonprofits, I've been doing this for 2 years now. All nonprofits have drama.
Yeah.
All of them do,
Yeah.
especially the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Blexit had drama. Candace Owens required all of her employees to sign non disclosure agreements. They all have conflicts with donors who want one narrative to be pushed and they're
Yeah. Yeah.
upset that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And just because a nonprofit has drama within it doesn't mean that they're guilty of killing their founder and their
Yeah.
leader. That's not enough evidence to hold up in a court. It
No,
just is not.
it's wild.
And it's very convenient for Candace that she's able to uncover TPUSA drama because there's going to be drama in nonprofits. There always
Yeah.
is. There was drama in Blexit. She was $1 million in the hole every year for the last 3 years she was running it.
Mm-hmm.
And she probably had weird demands from donors as well, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not uncovered because there isn't a big event to uncover it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just want everyone to really think critically and to make sure that they are um, not being sensationalized because it's been turned because the way she's doing it. It's fine that she's doing her investigation, but the way she's doing it is very sensationalized. I have something exciting. It's so exciting. And now the US military, and now it's French Legionnaires. And, it's very like, ooh, and people are getting out their popcorn, right? So we just have to stay grounded and in truth. And I hope that with that truth and staying grounded, that people start demanding answers from her. I had more to share. I'm sure, Joshua, you had more to share as well, but we're running out of time. I don't want this to be too long. I don't want to do this again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe no one will watch this and I won't have to.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more that we could say and there's more that we could share, but we don't really have time right now to do that. And I just hope everyone continues to think critically and pray and follow what God is telling them to do. And um, that's that.
All right.
Do you have anything more to say, Joshua?
No, I mean, just I hope people have the same questioning spirit and skepticism for her that they do for everything else.
And to remind everyone that these are real humans. Candace is a human. Erika is a human. She's not a robot. She's got two children from Charlie. Charlie chose her as his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were very close. He made it very clear. She made it very clear. These are human lives. These are people. People are flawed. We're all flawed. But at the same time, hypocrisy needs to be pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think that Candace should address what's happened with her organization and the millions of dollars in debt and the paying herself and saying that she worked 30 hours a week. Did she actually do that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking questions.
Yep.